Hello everyone and welcome back to Ashtoons the Vlog. As I am recording this, it is Monday, November the 19th, 2018, about 5:10 in the afternoon. According to my YouTube channel, it's been about 2 months since I did my last thrift store pickups video. And just as the title is indicated, this is going to be another one, and it has really piled up on me. Once again, to liven things up and keep things a little more fun, joining me today is Mr. Clatters the Trash Panda. It's been a few weeks since we saw you last, huh? Okay, so Mr. Attitude himself, Clatters the Trash Panda. Take a bow. Okay, so let's dive right into it, starting with the DVDs. We've got Expendables 1 and 2, which I haven't seen yet. I know, a 90s kid that hasn't seen the Expendables. How could that happen? Then we've got Mockingjay Part 1. This completes all of the Hunger Games, so I've seen all 4 movies now. Then I got this one, Jackie Chan's Dark Dragon, because it looks like one of his earlier movies, and I consider Jackie Chan a living legend. And so that actually is the same reason why I also bought this one here. This is Jackie Chan's Shadow Wooden Man, which for all the Jackie Chan movies, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about that one at all. And he looks so young in that one, as well as this one here. I know this is VHS, we're getting into it a little early, but we got Jackie Chan Spiritual Kung Fu. Take a look at some of those low-res, grainy awesomeness pictures on the back of that. So enough there for a good early Jackie Chan years marathon, right? What? What's that? Oh, you think I have a man crush on Jackie Chan? Well, maybe I have a little bit of a man crush on Jackie Chan, but let's continue right along, shall we? We got Invasion, some kind of sci-fi thriller. Jane's Got a Gun. This is a Western with Natalie Portman, and who doesn't like Natalie Portman? So I actually got to see the beginning of this movie when I was out hanging out with Tim one movie night, and he was streaming it from his phone. His phone battery died, so I never got to see the end of it. Now I will. Then we've got Lex Season 1, a very dark science fiction thriller that doesn't get talked about very often, and that's probably just because how gritty and kind of bloody it is. It's a thrill ride, but you have to take it in very small doses. Then we have the Ghostbusters 2. Now, the first Ghostbusters DVD seems like as common as dirt, and this is about the only time I have ever seen the second movie in DVD form out in a thrift store, and even though the sides of it were chewed up, it looks like by a dog, and the disc is scratched a little bit, I figured, go ahead and get it. I can have it resurfaced and give it a new case, and I will actually have a DVD of Ghostbusters 2. And then you've got the Tales of the Black Freighter. Now, if any of you have ever watched or read the Watchmen comic book, this was something that kept coming up like throughout the story, because one of the creators of the Giant Squid also worked on this story, so they just kind of threw it in between chapters. And I think this entire story should have been an extra feature on the Watchmen movie. I don't know why it wasn't, so you have to buy them in 2 separate discs. Now I have the second one, and I'll be interested to see just how accurate they got it. Then we've got Mars. I just got this because it looked like a terrible B-movie, kind of drive-in movie thing. Then there is Going South with Jack Nicholson. Yeah, he was actually in a Western. And this is actually based on the story, or the actual true fact, that there were so many men that died in, I believe it was the Civil War, that there was a shortage of husbands. There was a shortage of men to work the earth and give women a good home. And so, as the law goes, if there was a man that was sentenced to death, they would give women a chance to go in, speak to them, interview them, and decide if they wanted to take them home and marry them. And if they did, it would save them from being hung. Now, they hung people for minor things like stealing horses and stuff like that back then, so it wasn't like they were just taking a killer home with them. So, yeah, that actually happened, and that was the beginning of the story. I haven't seen it all the way through. Next one, Twister. I don't need to say anything about that. I had to get Batman The Dark Knight because I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, Christian Bale was not the best Batman ever. But, hey, gotta have this for that Heath Ledger performance, if nothing else, right? Okay, now, I found this one and had to get it. It just says The Yes Men, and I haven't read, exactly what it's about, but it made me curious if the Jim Carrey movie may be a remake of The Yes Men made into The Yes Man. So that's a curiosity. Now I've got both movies to answer that question with. Now, I have found the second Tomb Raider movie a ton of times. And I actually found the first one, finally, so now I've got both of them. Right, and this is really the only one I haven't seen. And I finally found the first Home Alone. The second one, again, I see all the time in stores, thrift stores, but the first one seems to be more rare, but it's back in print this season in the bargain bin at Walmart. So now I've got both. And then we have the, I believe, completely underrated X-Men Days of Future Past, which for some reason was so underwhelming they did not even put an audio commentary on the disc. And I saw this second trilogy completely out of order. I saw the first movie, then I saw the third one, and finally I got to see the second one. And I am totally impressed. What's Mystique, I think the actor that played her was Jennifer Lawrence from The Hunger Games, and she did a great job. I know she did not have a good time. She did not like playing Mystique for obvious reasons, but I think she did the character well. Alright, we got Flyboy, mostly because I really like World War I aviation. Those of you that saw me at the Aviators Museum understand that. And then Stand By Me, which I haven't seen yet, and this one is, I know it's a classic, don't get on to me for not having seen it. Guys, I just saw The Sandlot, so now I'm getting to see Stand By Me. This one is the special edition, so it's probably got a little more extra features than previous publishings. Machine Gun Preacher, which it looks like he's like an evangelist that decides to fight the guerrillas and fight back at the rebels that are killing all of his people in his church. So that'll be interesting to see. And I've seen the Coen Brothers' True Grit. Curious as to what the first one was like, starring the Duke. Alright, we got Gamer, and I believe this is just like where people are able to take over the mind of somebody that's in a death match, kind of like the Running Man. I think these are death row inmates. They're given some kind of like speaker in their ear, and the gamer actually tells them what to do and watches them through a monitor. And so the better your player is, the better you'll do in the death match. So I don't know, it kind of flopped a little bit, but I'm very curious as to how it played out. Then we've got a Wolverine, looks like an anime-style Wolverine movie, and I'm betting this is probably better than the live-action Wolverine Origin, right? That was just bad. If you haven't seen a review on that, go take a look, and I went through all the reasons why. I only gave it a 4 out of 5. Then we've got The Interview, and I got this one mostly just because, well, it was in a bargain bin at a pawn shop for like $1, but I wanted to see exactly what upset North Korea enough to try and kill a movie, though I'm sure all the controversy around it made it to where they made some money off of it anyway, right? Through DVD sales and things like that. Alright, continuing on, Life of Pi. I listened to the audiobook and it kept me riveted the entire time. Interested to see how well it adapted to a movie. Listening to it, it doesn't sound like it would have been a good movie, but somehow they did it. And I'm sure it made some money. We got the classic comedy with Ben Stiller, Something About Mary. I've heard a lot of people quote and giggle about, and so now I finally get to see it. Little Shop of Horrors. This one's the original, not the one with Rick Moranis in it. And so curious as to see what they were working with when they made that movie. And then Let's Be Cops, another modern comedy. Don't usually get into modern comedies, but I'm willing to give this one a try. They got Piranhas, which was a imitation of Jaws. Came out, I think, around the same time. And as knockoffs go, this one kind of made a name for itself. Now, I actually watched this one right after I bought it because it was a book that I listened to on my travels. And this turned out to be one of the few times that the movie was actually a little bit better than the book. I know, right? I actually said it. Usually it's only Roald Dahl movies that do that, but this time, the guys that made this movie really did good. So there you go. Good night and good luck. Just wanted to get this because it's one of Doug Walker's favorite movies, and it seemed like it would be boring, but he sold it really well, and now I'm going to give it a try. We got The Postman because I like post-apocalyptic worlds. The Curse of the Dragon because dragons. And then this one right here. What is this one called? Journey to the West. I got it just because of how pretty that artwork is on the front. I mean, look at that. That just looks like it's going to be a fun time, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, look at some of this stuff on the back here, too. I just looked at the pictures and decided, yeah, I will take that. Right. I know, I'm shallow, right? We've got 3 Godzilla movies all in one for $5. Pretty good deal. I don't think I have some of these. We've got Godzilla and Mothra, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. Giant monsters all-out attack, which I think I actually have that one and was very impressed by it. But now I've got 3 all in one. Okay, guys. You know that I am constantly on the search for video game movies that are actually good, and they are very rare, far between. But I found that there has been actually 3 movies made of Halo. We've got Halo Legends, Halo 4, Forward Unto Dawn, and Halo Nightfall. So there's a whole trilogy of Halo movies that I did not know about, and so I once again am going to be giving movies a try, video game movies a try, and hoping somebody struck that perfect combination and actually made a good video game movie. And then we've got The Tick, the complete series, which was only like, what, 16 episodes? They canceled it pretty quick. But after talking to Patrick Warburton on the 4th of July, if you guys haven't seen that video yet, go back to my 4th of July video. I actually was able to talk to this man right here, Patrick Warburton, on the phone. And he was the one that told me that there is finally another season of Venture Brothers coming out. He's the voice of Brock Sampson as well, but I have a total man crush. Yes, don't say it. I know. No, I am not renaming this Man Crush Monday. It's Monday and we're doing thrift store finds. This is thrift store finds. It's not Man Crush Monday. Got a little bit of attitude on you today, don't you? Alright, so I actually own a legal copy of the full series. And then we got Cyborg 009 because I like retro anime, and I think this might be some episodes that I don't already have. And then I've got I Love Lucy, and this says all 13 Lucy Daisy comedy hours. So it looks like this is not part of the regular I Love Lucy TV show that we all see like in VHS form all over the place. This is something a little bit different. Okay, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang DVD edition, and we've got Lawnmower Man 2, and this was one of those old science fiction thrillers that took the same flavor as Blade Runner, and I see this from time to time, got this nice clean copy of it, but I would really love to get Lawnmower Man as well. I haven't been able to see it yet, so Peter Pumpkin Ear. Then Birdie, because of Nicolas Cage awesomeness. He's really got that whole Nicolas Cage vibe and look right there on the front cover. The Seeker, I don't really know what this is, but it looks like a kid's fantasy, kind of like the Spiderwick or something along those lines. The Truman Show, just Jim Carrey, and this movie was just so artistically and well done. I wanted to see it again. And then Gulliver's Travels, because, hey, it's Jack Black. It's Jack Black, waist deep in water, getting tiny little cannonballs shot at his fat belly, and yeah, that's always fun. Okay, then we got the Scorpion King, and I wanted this because The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What else? What other reason should you ever need? Red Dragon, because Kung Fu Action. That's why. Now, I finally got Tremors 2, and that makes the second Tremors movie that I have found. I am watching them really out of order because the first one I found was Tremors 4. So out of the 4, I've only watched 2 and 4, and so far they have really delivered on the entertainment. So I'm hoping to get in all of them at some point and be able to see all the Tremors movies. All right, well, the sun set, and I wasn't even to the Blu-rays yet, so I went ahead and set up a light. I gave up on trying to do the whole natural light thing. Moving on with the DVDs now, I got a couple of these just because of the case that they're in. I mean, look at these. They're just really cool looking cases. They look like, I think these are early DVDs, but these cases are like giant jewel cases. Here, hold one for me. Here we go. There, you got it? Just look at this. It's got DVD printed right there on the inside of the binder, like that. And then if you flip it, you can let go now. Yeah, see, it's got it printed right there too, and then more stuff over here. Just really elaborately done for a DVD of David and Goliath. I mean, everybody knows what's going to happen, but still, done very elaborate. If anybody knows the story behind these cases, let me know, because those are very cool, and I've got a bunch of them now. And there's this one, Zulu, which I think is like African warriors back in the medieval times, and they would like throw knives at each other and stuff. The tagline just says, an epic story of courage, honor, and pride. So there's that too, in one of those awesome cases. Oh, now this one here, this might not seem like a big deal to you guys. Oh look, he found a sealed copy of Matilda, but I was really happy to find this because if you don't know, the person that wrote this is Roald Dahl. He also wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, James and the Giant Peach, and The Big Friendly Giant. Now, all these names that I'm listing off here, you might recognize them because they were all made into fantastic movies. There was just something about his writing that made for good movies. So, of all 5 of those movies, this was the only one that I did not have. So now I've got a full set of Roald Dahl movie adaptations. We're not counting the Tim Burton one. I don't think I'm ever going to own that. Tim Burton, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I love Tim Burton, but he let me down on that one. Those Oompa Loompas, they look like a bunch of clones. It was creepy. And you can't beat Gene Wilder, you know. As much as I love Johnny Depp, you're awesome, love you to death. You can't beat you can't beat Gene Wilder. Just can't do it. Okay, then I got 2 seasons of Cougar Town. Courtney Cox, we love you. You are awesome in all that you do. These are so cheaply made. I mean, it's like they rarely go beyond the main 6, I think like 6 characters. Yeah, 6 main characters. And the whole set is like 3 houses in like a cul-de-sac, and just like they're bickering back and forth and the little dramas that they get into with each other. But I can't stop watching. I've seen every episode in both of these seasons. I've marathoned all the way through every DVD that I'm holding right here already. I just love her. I just love Courtney Cox. Love her to death. Okay, now, I actually found 2 movies that I can use in that bit that I'm wanting to make on my channel called They made a sequel to that? There was a Dirty Dancing 2, guys, and this one didn't have Patrick Swayze in it at all. Was Patrick Swayze in the first one? Was that what? Or was it Kevin Bacon? That was Footloose, wasn't it? Well, whatever. This one is just called Dirty Dancing Havana Nights. It doesn't even say Dirty Dancing 2. It's Dirty Dancing Havana Nights with none of the actors from the first movie. That should be a train wreck that I can't look away from. And also, did you know there was a second weekend at Bernie's? There was a second weekend at Bernie's. Woo, okay. We'll see. We'll see. All right, that actually does it. That actually does it for all the DVDs. Can you believe it? Wow, how long did that take? All right, getting on to the Blu-rays now. Star Trek Into Darkness, I've already watched and actually enjoyed. Hurt Locker, heard a lot about this, want to see it. And then we got Rock and Roll, which I picked up from the pawn shop because in a conversation with actually somebody I was drawing, I asked, what was your favorite action movie of all time? And I'm expecting something like The Matrix. But no, this person said it was Rock and Roll. They said that it was action-packed and entertaining from beginning to end. And I had never heard of it before. And then, when I saw it in the pawn shop, I grabbed it up. Now I get to see it, and interesting to see what's going to be on there. All right, we got Mr. Popper's Penguins, Jim Carrey. Don't you say that I've got a man crush on Jim Carrey. Just got a lot of his movies, that's all. All right. And then you've got Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter in 3D. Now, that is if I had a TV that was capable of showing 3D, which I don't. But still, I'm interested to see this. I'm a fan of Rod Espinosa. He did a comic book series called Abraham Lincoln Time Traveler, or something along those lines. And, of course, there was Time Lincoln on the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And so, and of course, the Great Screw-On Head had a Lincoln in there as well. So far, every time I've seen Lincoln in a comic booky, fictional story, I have totally enjoyed it. So I'm hoping I will enjoy this too. Now, I know it kind of flopped, but I'm still willing to give it a chance. Then we got the Gentleman Broncos. Gentleman Broncos, guys, and it says right at the top that this was made by the same team that made Napoleon Dynamite. Now, this movie has the same kind of flavor as Napoleon Dynamite, the same charm to it, the little deadpan, small-town humor. And I have already seen it all the way through and loved every bit of it, except for the end finale, which I thought was really stupid and kind of threw logic completely out the window. So I'm willing to forgive 5 minutes of an otherwise awesome movie. And now I own it and can watch it anytime that I want. And that's actually it for the Blu-rays. Wow, it is pitch black now, isn't it? Okay, next up, the VHSs. We got, what is this? Multiplicity. Because Michael Keaton. That's why. Okay, if you say Man Crush one more time, you are not going to be in the rest of this video. Do you want that? Is that what you want? Okay, then. You behave yourself. Alright, Michael Keaton, that's why. Alright, we've got Escape from L.A., and this is, of course, Snake is back, and he's escaping from L.A., not New York this time. And again, this is Kurt Russell, I believe. Okay. Oh, alright. Charlotte's Web, and actually there's a little bit of a personal connection to this one. When my parents were dating, this is one of the movies that they went and saw together. And so the two of them, anytime that somebody mentions Charlotte's Web, the two of them kind of look at each other and share a memory just by looking at each other, just a little glance. And then G.I. Joe. I'm not sure exactly why I bought this one, maybe because it was like a quarter or something, but, so, oh, I know why, because look at the back. It's a newer version. It's like computer animated characters there. So, I guess I just kind of wanted to see that. Then we've got Pink Panther, and this is one where he's got some kind of love interest which I hadn't seen yet, and who doesn't like the Pink Panther? And then we've got C. Nasties with Leslie Nielsen, and I think he did a series of these comical educational videos. I know I saw him do one about golf that had me rolling laughing, and so I just wanted to see Leslie Nielsen some more. I mean, he's gone now, he's dead now, so that's all the Leslie Nielsen we have is all we're ever going to get. And then we've got a blast from the past, because believe it or not, there was a time when Brendan Fraser was awesome, and this was smack dab in the middle of that time. And then Beverly Hills Ninja, I would have liked to have gotten this on DVD, but I couldn't seem to ever find it, so I picked it up on VHS. You know, it's Chris Farley being Chris Farley. Okay, so now, guys, I have seen this character right here, the Shadow, was kind of a detective that could go invisible, and his stories started way back in, I think it was the 40s, back in the radio era. And back then, they attributed it to his invisibility to mesmerism. He could hypnotize people, or weak-minded people, just mesmerize them, and they just could not see him. I really liked the radio series, had good stories, good sound effects, all that kind of stuff. And then I have seen a movie adaptation made with Alec Baldwin as the Shadow, which I don't usually care for Alec Baldwin, but I loved that movie, very underrated. And then when I found that there was a black and white adaptation made somewhere in between those two times, between the radio show and the Alec Baldwin movie, and so I just wanted to see it. So, get to see that now. They got Wicked City because, again, I like retro anime. And then these two right here, I actually got these from antique stores. They were a little bit pricey as VHSs go. I think they were like $5 a piece. But I'm thinking about doing a bit on my channel at some point called On VHS Only, because I don't believe these two ever got a DVD release. And so they're like, you know, back in the day when the movie poster was the thing that sold the movie, and it was kind of like a B science fiction thriller kind of movie. So this one right here is one of those. This one is just called simply The Dark. And then we have Inner Space, again, really fantastically done movie poster right there adorning the front of the VHS. And then some, you know, rather lame looking pictures on the back when you look at it. It looks like regular suburbia. Then I got this right here, Ninja Wars. Now when you see a front cover like this, and it says Ninja Wars, and you turn it around, and you see this kind of stuff. Ninjas going at it, all this really awesomeness, and they say, you can have it for 50 cents. Somebody like me, I'm gonna take it. We got the Druid, and I wanted to get this because I'd seen the beginning of the movie. I know it's a pretty good one. It's a sword and sandals and sorcery movie featuring the same guy that was on The Fortress, and also, I believe, The Punisher. So, that's going to be cool. And then the last VHS, Free Willy 2. This is probably going to be another one of those, they made a sequel to that? I'm doubting very much that Michael Jackson helped with the music on this one as well. But I'm bringing this one up last because that transitions us right into the computer games. Because around the same time that I found that VHS, I also found the computer book. Now this was something that they used to make back in my day, back in the early 90s when a popular movie came out. They had an interactive computer book. This one's for Free Willy 2, and it had like really cheesy looking menus that you could highlight, and it would like explain different parts of the movie and play little excerpts from the movie and that kind of thing. A little interactive kids book that you could put on your Windows 95 machine and play around with and be a little more interactive in the movie. And part of the reason why I got this is because I actually owned this as a kid. I actually played with this a little bit. So it's going to be nostalgic to get back into it. I'm also nostalgic for Redneck Rampage. I think I already have a copy of this, but it doesn't hurt to have a backup. Redneck Rampage is one of those PC first-person shooters that is always making those underrated list or hidden gems list, so that's a good one to have. And then we've got Blitzkrieg. I have no idea how to pronounce this, but it was like $1, and it's like a more modern, like Windows 2000 XP tank strategy game. Oh, and I was so happy to find this. This was actually, when I found it, the find of the day. And you guys might remember me saying that I have a Tetris collection. I try to collect as many different versions of Tetris as I possibly can. This is one that I had only ever seen one other time, and even then it was scratched and did not have its manual. But this one is minty. Minty. It's a PC version of Tetris called Tetris Elements, and that's because the different levels that you go through have like different themes to them, like water, fire, earth, air, that kind of thing. And as it's rare, it's not expensive, but it's rare. And so now I get to put that in with my other Tetris items in my Tetris collection. As well as this, I found the next Tetris. This is on the PlayStation, original PlayStation, but I got the PC version now as well. Then I got something in the kitchen. This is another kids interactive game for the PC, Windows 95, I believe. This one's a little more modern. This one's called Fate Undiscovered Realms. It's a dungeon crawler, but I think it's one of those randomized dungeon crawlers that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And when I looked up reviews on it, people seem to like it, even though it's not really well known, and I don't believe it ever got a console release. And then there is this one here, Delta Force Extreme 2, and I think this is a PC only, or a PC extension of probably a console game. I mean, this is the age of the first-person shooter. I would just toss this on in with Gears of War and Rainbow Six and Modern Warfare, and should I go on? Doom, blah, 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 blah. It was like $1. So then I got World of Goo, and this, the actual physical release for this is actually kind of rare, because most people that have played this played the download version or the mobile version. So to get it on disc with the actual opening, cover like this is a little bit rare, and it's considered one of the best mobile puzzle games made recently. So, and I have the physical copy of it. Woot woot. Well, looks like we're about 30 minutes in and we're just now getting to the console games. Yay, console games! Guys, this is for people that like pickups videos. I hope that some of you don't get on here and watch the whole thing and then complain about how long it is and unsubscribe. What you've seen in the first half is what's going to be in the second half. This is for people that like pickups videos. If you don't think you're going to like that, just click off and wait till my next video comes out. But please don't unsubscribe. Okay, we're starting with the original PlayStation. This one is the Rising Zen, the Samurai Gunman. Whoa, Samurai Gunman. Yes, I need more of that in my life. Samurais and guns in the same game. That should be fun. Then I got this one, Vegas Games 2000. I think it was a throw-in with a package deal. And then I've got You Don't Know Jack, Mach 2. Now, the funny thing about this irreverent trivia game is it is very pop culture centric. And this one was copyright the year 2000. So if you are not up on your pop culture, your movies and stuff from, at this point, 18 years ago, then you will not be good at this game. It's kind of a little irreverent trivia time capsule from years gone past. And then I have actually one game for the Sega Dreamcast that is not a sports game. This one is just simply the Blue Stinger. It is a third-person shooter and puzzle solving, I believe. Alright, now moving on to the Xbox 360. We got Halo Wars. This is an actual strategy game, an RTS, with Halo characters. Didn't know this existed. I'm going to have to try it out. I do like my RTSs. And then we've got Tomb Raider Anniversary. This is the third one that I've gotten. I have the original, and then I've got the PlayStation 2 Anniversary, the version for the Wii, and now the Xbox 360. So if you count the original, I've got 4 different versions of this game, and hopefully it improves with each generation. Then we've got the Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Dark Athens, and this is kind of like filling some gaps in between, I think, the first and the second movie, I believe. Or maybe it's a prequel to the first movie. Yeah, whatever, I'll figure it out. But said to be actually good licensed games. There's another one for the original Xbox called Escape from Butcher Bay that is also very good. Then we got Monster Madness. This is, what is it, like a combat racer, I believe. And then there is this one. This is a sports game. It is a ping pong game. Why did I buy a ping pong game? Well, because of, look at that logo down there. This is the same guys that made the Grand Theft Auto series. And I've actually looked at some of the gameplay for this, and it's very natural looking, very realistic, and it looked like it would actually be fun, and even a little mesmerizing. And it was cheap, it was like $5. Alright, we got Metro 2033. First-person shooter, I believe. Yeah, a first-person shooter in a post-apocalyptic world. And then we have the First Templar. And it is a dungeon crawler with a mini-map and adventures and quests to go on. All of that. I think this one does not actually rely on magic casting, which I like the simplicity of ones that don't do that. And I believe there's not a whole lot of reading. I think this one actually has a lot of voice actors, so you don't have to read a lot of dialogue, which I like. Whew, so that does it for the Xbox 360. Moving on to the PlayStation 2. We got Conflict Zone. And then we got The Legend of K, a third-person kind of hack-and-slash platforming game that really only got attention later on in its life when it was recognized as a hidden gem. Got so much attention that the publishers went ahead and republished it on the Wii U as The Legend of K Anniversary in high definition. So this one is getting a second life, and deservedly so. Alright, and then there was Shell Shocked. It's a NAM 67. Shell Shocked, of course. It's going to be another first-person shooter. And then Flat Out 2, which I believe is a combat racer. And then this one, and it is Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which was a cartoon on Adult Swim, and the game is most commonly seen on the Nintendo Wii. And this version right here on the PlayStation 2 is actually kind of rare. It's not expensive, but I was happy to actually find it, even though it was just the disc. And then we've got Star Wars Super Bomb Bad Racing. And if you can forgive the fact that it's using characters from The Phantom Menace and just see it for the cute combat racer that it is, it's actually not bad. Rogue Galaxy is one of those sleeper hits that later on, when people were talking about their experiences on the PlayStation 2 over the internet, years and years later, this name kept coming up. Rogue Galaxy was my favorite JRPG. Rogue Galaxy is the thing that got me started on JRPGs. I just love Rogue Galaxy. And so it is actually going up in price, and I was happy to find a complete copy of it. I found the disc only at one point, but then when I found this, I had to snatch it up because it's going to get more and more rare. Sylphid. I've already got one copy of this, but this one had a very, very clean lenticular cover. I know, I'm starting to sound like a real collector now, aren't I? Armed and Dangerous, of course, comical first-person shooter. This one right here, 9 Holes of Xmas. This one, I believe, yes, there it is right there. It was a Blockbuster exclusive and also holiday themed, which makes it rare on top of rare. Right now, this is only $5. And so if you have a YouTube channel, which I plan on doing a lot more like video game related stuff on my channel at some point, and so if I want to do holiday theme stuff, it's good to stock up on this kind of game. And it's going to, yeah, it even says it right there, Blockbuster exclusive. So my guess is it's going to go up in value, probably. Van Helsing, terrible movie, made into a really good game. This one, again, keeps getting mentioned on those hidden gems and top 10 charts and stuff all over YouTube. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube about my video games. That's how I know so much about them. I do play them. All right, going on to Nintendo. This is Nintendo Wii. I've already mentioned Legend of K, the anniversary high-definition version. Of course, James Bond seems to have a long line of licensed games that were actually good. So this one here, even though it's cheap, I'm betting I'll have some fun with it. 007 Legends. And then Deus Ex. And this one is the director's cut, high definition. Shovel Knight, the indie hit that just keeps on going and going. It just, like, I don't know, it's not as big as Cuphead, but definitely has a lot of people's attention. And just look at this pretty manual. This is in a day and age when our manuals are 3 or 4 pages long, but these guys are old school enough that they put in a color manual that's just packed to the brim, full of illustrations and game strategies and different things you can do. I just love this. I just love this. You can tell the people that made Shovel Knight are old school and not willing to compromise. Pikmin 3. Now, I believe the first 2 were on the GameCube, and they are really, really expensive now. I want to say they're getting up over $50 a piece at this point. Of course, you can pick up the ones on the Nintendo Wii, but I think I've heard that they aren't as good. But I was able to find this, Pikmin 3, for the overlooked Nintendo Wii for, like, what was it? Like $7, $8? So I get to have the Pikmin experience for dirt cheap. Monster Hunter 3, Monster Hunter Ultimate. And then Rabbit's Land. This is an actual party game. A party game for the Nintendo Wii. So that does it for the Nintendo Wii. Now, continuing on with the Nintendo theme, let's go to the Nintendo handheld, the DS. Starting with this one here, it's called the Legend of Cage 2. It has kind of mid-range reviews, but I wanted to get it because of that little logo down there, Taito. Love Taito, and I don't think you can go completely wrong with a Nintendo with the Taito game. Then there's this one here, Chameleon, a fun little time-eating puzzle game. And then on the 3DS, I got this one here. It's called Steel Diver, kind of a slow-moving, really fun shmup, underwater shmup. And then we've got Veggie World. Cutesy. I want to say this one's probably a cute 'em up. And then the legendary Starfy. Starfy is a very popular character in Japan, and this one that we finally got here in the US is actually game number 4. So we're seeing him for the first time, but he's got a lot of refined abilities in gameplay that just endeared him to so many American hearts. He's basically Kirby with the different theme. Okay, and then Bust-A-Move. Bust-A-Move Universe for the 3DS. Now, I know I have played completely through Bust-A-Move Universe for the DS. I think it's like a redoing of that game or an improving of that one. Which, when I get to playing Bust-A-Move, I can't seem to stop. Then we have, what was this one? Alien Monster Bowling League, or AMBL. If you get tired of playing regular Wii bowling as a little Wii character, you can play this one and be a monster. Then we've got the Namco Museum Megamix. Now, that's it for the Wii and for the DS, 3DS. I got 2 GameCube games. These GameCube is getting harder and harder to find and more expensive. I've got Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. And I think I found that at like a flea market, like tucked in somewhere, and was able to get it really cheap. And threw it in with this one. The Sims Bustin' Out, which I've already got on the PlayStation 2. But hey, if you can get the GameCube version of a cross-platform game for cheap, might as well pick it up. So that does it for the Nintendo stuff and Xbox. So let's move along to Sony. Not a whole lot. We've got the Unreal Tournament, and then what is this down here? Unreal Tournament U. Whatever. I'm not real familiar with the Unreal Tournament stuff. But I did get one PSP game, and this one is an adventure game called Kingdom of Paradise. Kind of middle reviews and cheap. Going even further back with our Nintendo handhelds, we've got a couple here for the Game Boy Advance. This one is just called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Double Pack. And so they never have been able to recapture the awesomeness of Turtles in time, but they've tried a few times, and I think this one is based on the newer cartoon, and it is worth a try. And then I've got this one right here, which is actually just 3 really common board games on console, and they are, I believe, Hasbro properties. You've got Memory, Chutes and Ladders, and then Candyland. And the whole reason why I got this was because I believe this is the only console version of Candyland. And I found a computer game of Candyland that was done really well with like animations and stuff. And so I want to make an episode at some point where I do the different video game versions of Candyland and do like a commentary about it, because I have a little bit of a kindred, an affinity for Candyland. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's just because I have a sweet tooth. But yeah, there's that now. All right, so that does it for the cartridge games for the handhelds. Going on to the Super Nintendo. Now, don't you throw my Super Nintendo cartridges around. All right, I know you haven't done it in a while, but I'm giving you a little bit of a warning. We've got Tetris Attack. Now, why would I buy this? Why would I buy this if I've already got Pokemon Puzzle League on the Nintendo 64? I mean, it's pretty much the same game, and that one's better. I don't know. I think it has something to do with the Yoshi theme they put on this that just, I don't know, it warms my heart. I just love it. It puts me in a great mood. And then we have Demolition Man. Oh, okay. What is it with you? Huh? Demolition Man? Really? What do you not like about Demolition Man? Because of Sly Stallone. Really? You think I got a man crush on Sly Stallone too? Oh, yeah. Because I bought the Expendables 1 and 2. No, I'm starting to think that you are just jealous, aren't you? Well, at least you admit to it. Alright, well, it's Demolition Man, which is a licensed property that actually made for a reasonably good Super Nintendo game. You watch yourself, okay? Alright, Brawl Brothers, which I got it because it's good and it was reasonably priced. Heavy Barrel, I actually saw this one in a in a retro store at one point behind glass, and I was just like, heavy barrel. It sounds lame. I don't need that. And then I saw, I think it was a James and Mike Monday where they were playing this and just having a great time, and they were just raving about it. And and after that, I never could find it again. That was until I believe it was Phoenix Electronics down there in Lake City, Florida, had it for a reasonable price, and I snatched it up. Give me that. Got a copy of Heavy Barrel. And then, of course, that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, the one that had the Technodrome that was it was the wrong size. It had men on fire in the sewer, and the turtles that would land in the water and drowned, even though they had a swimming level later on. Such a faulty, quirky game, but yet at the same time, I played it a ton when I was a kid, as well as a lot of other people have some good memories of it, and just can't hate it. I just can't hate it. I'm gonna end up beating it one day. You totally believe that, don't you? Okay. All right. Then we have Disney Adventures, and this is one where you're actually take like old Disney World, and they made a level out of all the different rides. So you kind of go through Disney World and you play the Haunted Mansion and a bunch of other stuff. Pretty good reviews as far as 8-bit games go, and I got it for like $7. So still collecting cartridge games, even though they are getting easier and easier to emulate. There's just something about it. Just love it. Just want to rub them all over me. I can't stop buying them. Don't you give me that look. You're the one that was jealous of my movies and Sly Stallone. All right, no, you. Okay, all right. So is that all of the cartridges we have? No, it's not. Guys, we are going pre-Nintendo. I've actually got a few Atari games here, starting with Tucked and Hammond for the 2600. Yes, the 2600 is the one that everybody thinks of as the Atari. This one, Tucked and Hammond, is constantly showing up on lists of Atari games that still hold up. It was a cute little maze runner game that can still eat up a few hours very quickly. And but the 2600 was not the only console that Atari made. They also made the 5200, which flopped terribly, and then came the 7800. And the 7800 was an 8-bit machine that was actually meant to compete with the Nintendo. Because, you know, the Nintendo was 8-bit, 7800 was also 8-bit. The 7800, there wasn't enough good publishers for it, not a lot of third-party backing, not a lot of adventure games, and they were using the same sound card that they were for the 2600. That doesn't sound very good, does it? Still, the library of games has got some nice little gems, including this one here, Desert Falcon. It's a little shoot 'em up, which is, I think this was an isometric view shoot 'em up. It's kind of fun. And also I have the Ace of Aces for the 7800. Now, the whole library of the 7800 is like 40 games, probably less than that, really. So it's not hard to collect for. As a matter of fact, I think I might already have these, because after I bought them, I was like looking at the labels going, yeah, that looks a little familiar. So these might actually be backups to the ones I already have. I love the 7800 though, and there's nothing like that sound effects over top of 8-bit gameplay. Absolutely love it. Don't worry guys, we're on the home stretch now, going on to the category of audiobooks. Starting with this one right here, The Sins of the Fathers. This is 2 cassettes long, and it's a post-apocalyptic world. A good adventure book that is not based around a murder mystery. Those seem to be getting harder and harder to find. And then we have a Seraph Palin Going Rogue. I seem to like these more modern books that are people write like an autobiography of themselves. I really like the one of Olivia Munn. That was really good. And the one that Tina Fey made, or no, it was Amy Poehler. Listen to the one by Amy Poehler was really good as well. Anyway, and then I got a couple of books by the talk show legend himself, Mr. Rush Limbaugh, Talent on Loan from God. Narrated by himself, of course. One of them called The Way It Ought to Be, and the other one is I Told You So. Now these are on cassette, and so they were made a little more during his heyday, but still, Rush Limbaugh is always very entertaining to listen to. And then we have this one right here, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, and this is a single cassette. And I have actually heard people that have read this book talk very highly of it. It was nice to actually find it in audio form. Murray Higgins Clark, and this one is Let Me Call You Sweetheart. Murray Higgins Clark is one of the few writers that I will trust with a murder mystery, and I will actually listen to it all the way through. She paints a good picture, good mental picture, and she keeps things interesting. And so if I am going to listen to a murder mystery, I'd rather it be her. Now this one right here, this one is 2 short stories by Louis L'Amour. And when you see these in like thrift stores or places and you're going on a long trip, these are really good to listen to because they have voice actors actually play the different parts of the different characters, and they add in sound effects and gunfire and everything, and they're good stories. Now this one right here, these 2 stories right here, Home in the Valley and There's Always a Trail, these actually do not feel like Louis L'Amour stories. They feel like these were probably written by some of his ghostwriters. And I hate to say it, but they're a little better. These 2 are a little better than what Louis L'Amour stories are normally like. Not as campy and really good. And so, yeah, he's got some tropes that he uses a few too many times over and over. With as many books as he wrote, I mean, can you expect anything less? But those 2 are really good. Then this one I have no idea yet what it is. It's 2 cassettes long, and it's just called The Human Comedy, and my name is Adam. So that should make for a little bit of a mesmerizing listen. And Louis Gizzard, which I believe he was a writer for, what was it, the New York Times? An author for the New York Times back in the 90s, and then died tragically from cancer, I think. One of those. But very entertaining, and his stuff is basic, just commentary on life, living in general, somehow made interesting. Another Murray Higgins Clark, again, murder mystery that I actually like. This one is called Malice Domestic. Ooh, with a name like that, yeah, pop it in. Let's get started on that one. And then there is this one right here, A Full Life, Reflections at 90, Jimmy Carter. It's another one of those autobiography type books. Now, this one looks really dry. This is kind of thing that I'm not normally into, but I wanted to listen to this one because I'm actually related to Jimmy Carter. I'm not sure if that's something I should be proud of, but down there in Florida, I do have some family members that still hold the name Carter, and so yes, very distantly, but I am related to Jimmy Carter. Okay, and then we got Terry Johnston. This one is Ashes of Heaven. No idea. Tom Sawyer, everybody knows. Mark Twain, you cynical, old, grouchy guy. You knew how to write some stories that kept people listening. All right, this one is actually a true story of a kidnapping victim that was able to break free of her captors and rejoin her family, and her story of triumph and strength and terror and all kinds of stuff. She's had TED Talks and all kinds of things, but this feels like a nice thick book. So she's really fleshed out her story here, and that'd be interesting. All right, last one. Jennifer Weiner, In Her Shoes. Guess I'll just find out. I really have no idea on that one either. Haven't read the back yet. Just saw the pretty girl in the front and bought it. There you go. On to the toys and trinkets. I got this one right here from a flea market down in Florida, the Talk Boy. And you guys saw that I actually found a copy of Home Alone 1. And this is actually from Home Alone 2. This is the one that he fooled. He fooled Tim Curry into believing there was a grown man in the shower by playing a recording on this Talk Boy. And it actually works. I played with one of these when I was a kid. I don't know what I did with it. Just happy to find this again. When I do get both of those Home Alone DVDs and a spot on my shelf, I'm going to put the 2 DVDs and then this along with it right there is like a little shrine to the first 2 Home Alone movies. Really classic movies. Okay, I had this thrown in on one of the package deals, a couple of Wii nunchuck attachments. When you see these for $1 or $2, always pick them up. Then we've got the pink version of the Color Video Now by Tiger Electronics. Now this was from back in the day before smartphones, when parents wanted to let their kids be able to watch some cartoons on the road and keep them distracted. They had these, and they actually had little proprietary type disc. You see how the disc itself says Video Now on it? It had to have that logo on there in order for it to play in the player, and it would actually show up on this screen right here, and you had your little buttons right here for the fast forward and pause, and oh wait, there was the forward and back, you know, and then pause and play right there. It's actually very nifty and still fun to play with now. There's one that's actually called the Video Now Plus that actually has some little direction buttons on it that allow you to play little video games on there. They're the kind of video games where you get to a part in the cartoon where you need to turn a corner and you have to time your press just right, but still very cool. So I've got this is my 3rd one. So I've got the black and white, I've got the Video Now Plus, and now I've got the Video Now Color Pink with the front display. So that was cool to find. Got one plug and play that I didn't have yet. This one is Disney's Sleeping Beauty. You just put batteries in the bottom, then plug the audio video into, if you can find a TV screen that actually accepts audio video cables like this. Switch it on, and then you play the games that I built into it. I found this right here. Now, I actually found a Famicom little, what do they call it? Little emulator kind of Famicom thing a few weeks back when I was in Indiana, and there was a spot on the front with a 9-pin attachment where it was missing, and then I realized I'd forgot to buy the control pad that was sitting right next to it, and I felt so stupid. But then I actually found the control pad by itself at a flea market a few weeks ago, and I was like, I guess it was just meant to be. So now I've got both components of it. Okay, now just as far as the little baubles go, I found one Raving Rabbit that I didn't already have. One of the smaller McDonald's toy Yoshis. This one I think came out around the time that they were promoting Mario Odyssey. I think this one may have been something like that too. And this one I know definitely was. So unfortunately, he's missing his hat. Yeah, because normally, you know, you'd be able to get him to throw his hat. He'd throw his hat and it attaches right there in that little clip on his hand. But this one, it actually makes that Mario sound effect when he jumps right there from that little switch. So you can hear that. Oh, it's not doing it now. It was doing it a second ago. The battery just died. Oh, there we go. This one is a little bauble that's a little bit older than you would think. I think it's from 1980 $1.09. Yeah, this was just in there in a package with all this 2018 stuff, and I was like, I'll take that too. And I looked at the bottom of it, and what do you know? It looks brand new, doesn't it? Very shiny. Nice to find that. And then you've got Phineas and Ferbots. Phineas. I actually have a whole Phineas and Ferb collection going on. I've got some of their music CDs, the little karaoke machine. A few dolls, you know, the little figurines. I don't have a Ferb. I think this is Phineas, but the Ferb is the one that has the big rectangular head. I'd like to get both of them, but I've just got this one right now. I found this one really cheap at a, what was it, like a consignment shop that was going out of business. So, yeah, got that. And then, last but not least, a Batman piggy bank. And if you look at the print, it's like an actual photo print right there. This is the Michael Keaton Batman. Still jealous? Look, there's no reason to be jealous, all right? You gonna go over there and pick that up now? You gonna go over there and pick it up? Alright, that's better. Alright, so this is an actual Michael Keaton Batman piggy bank that I found at an estate sale. So now I've got, for that original Tim Burton Batman movie, I've got the art book, the VHS, the DVD, and now the piggy bank. Oh, and of course, the video game. The NES video game. So I've got enough to make a whole shrine to the Batman, to the Batman the movie. Oh, and I got a Rock Band drum foot pedal thrown in with, you know, those Wii nunchucks, because like this cord is actually pulled out of the one that I have. It looks like it's starting to fray on this one too, but it's not completely pulled out. Apparently that's a problem that a lot of them have. Alright, it looks like we are finally right at the end now. Gonna show off the big packages. I actually found another Atari Flashback. This time the Atari Flashback 2. They're up to like 10 now. But this one came with everything except the instruction manual and the power supply. But luckily enough, the same yard sale where I found this, I went over to, because this was like one of those street deals where there was a bunch of houses along the same street doing yard sales. So I went down a few houses and looked through a whole case of power supplies and found this. And it's the exact same output as the power supply indicated on the back of this Flashback 2. And amazingly enough, look at the logo that is on this power supply. So, yeah, 2 yard sales, just a few houses apart. One of them had the power supply. I think this is actually for an original 2600 is what it looks like. It's got a little bit of something janky going on with the cords here, but I can tape that up and work with it. So that makes it now where I have a complete Atari Flashback 2 for dirt cheap. And so that was a nice little find. And then there is this, and you guys are going to groan when you see this. But I'm sure you guys probably see these all the time in thrift stores. They were just like, they had a definite bell curve where there was a big hype and they went the same way as all the other rhythm games, Guitar Hero, Rock Band. And this one, DJ Hero, big hype. Then finally people just kind of got over it and started getting rid of them. And as far as DJ Hero goes, I have never personally played this, and it's an experience I have yet to have. And I've got now the entire setup complete in box. It doesn't have the game in there, but that's like really easy to find. And so I think I have one of these in my storage building too. But it was dirt cheap as they are now. So yeah, groan if you want, but I got it now. I got the Wii DJ Hero complete inbox. All right, the very last thing, and I promised this is the last thing. I found this at the same estate sale where I found the Batman piggy bank, and I like to carry a pocket knife. It's a tool that I use regularly. It seems like just about every day. And the pocket knife that I like to carry around is what I call a Barlow style. It's the two blades, one of them wide, one of them thin. They're good for wedging under stuff, or for you know, just any kind of like little tool works. You can actually use them in the place of a screwdriver sometimes. But at that estate sale, I actually did not find a Barlow style knife. I found an actual Barlow knife. Not just an actual Barlow knife, but one that was still in the box, and it's still in the plastic inside here. There was like 4 or 5 of them. I'm kind of wondering if I should have just bought all of them. But now I actually have a Barlow knife in a box, sealed in plastic. So I don't know why, but I just, I'm going to keep this. This is going to go on the shelf. This is going to be right in there amongst all my other collectibles. The Barlow knife. And that is it. Yes. Whew. I haven't really looked at my time, but I'm pretty sure we're probably getting up to like 45 minutes, better part of an hour. I apologize. I am so sorry, guys. That's what happens when I go for 2 months without doing another pickups video. It's just kind of built up on me, and I felt like I needed to just get it all knocked out in one video. And now that I have all this time off for my off season to get everything reset and more professional for next year, I kind of wanted to start off by cleaning out the camper. So all of this was part of that. Was part of my starting my process, getting stuff taken out, organized, and starting that whole cleanup process. And so for the few of you that have actually stuck it out with me and watched this video all the way to this point, thank you all so very much. And don't forget to smash that like button, leave comments, questions, suggestions, requests, share this vlog around, subscribe if you haven't already, and do what? That's right, ding that bell icon so that you'll start receiving notifications every time I upload a new video. One more time, thank you all so very much. Clatters the trash pan, everyone. Take a bow. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.